and some like toothpicks.
I was gonna say, I don't know if that got in the recording, but I was just like this.
Just we're looking into the souls of everyone watching. All right, look,
Welcome to the show.
actually, I actually look 10 times older doing this,
I just look like a crazy person.
especially with the hair sticking up.
Yeah, I know, with my very, very fluffy hair at the minute.
It's kind of like Zohan on acid.
It's giving real weird vibes. I don't know what's happening. It's giving me Jimmy Neutron, and I'm just gonna
Give
live
me
with it.
Neutron, Jared Neutron. That's hot.
That's art. That's going in the old out of context. Out of
That is
context.
the
Let's
quickest
not
out
go
of
around that.
context we've ever had, I
We've
reckon.
had. Absolutely.
I'm also gonna have an idea and just, you know,
Yeah,
gonna do what I do.
as it is.
Step
Due
away,
diligence. Due
get into
diligence.
the just tick the boxes. Just get into the sweatshop
No.
and just put people's faces on other people's.
The ant special.
Yeah. Really got nothing else going for me, just that. Do you know what's funny? Is I looked up my little screen time thing, and I don't have Snapchat notifications on or anything, but Snapchat's in the top five, and that's purely the reason why.
Making it, absolutely.
Yeah. Like I would leave people on red for 12 hours, but I'm in there just mute little head on top.
It's the only thing I ever use Snapchat for is making memes.
Correct. Quite literally,
That's
it's
all
its
you
only
ever need it
use.
for. That's all you ever need it for. That app doesn't exist anymore, I don't think.
Well, it's kind of weird when you've got Curtis Taylor, Liam Stocker, Jared Thomas in there, just combined, and some friends I don't even have cut out. So it's kind of hard
Weird
when you go
vibes.
make a meme.
Just odd vibes.
I can technically say they're in my phone.
It's not a contact, not a number to go with it.
No, more face recognition.
Yeah, definitely right.
Got
Just be like, I have you in my phone. That'll fucking get them. Being like, hey, I got you on my phone. That'll make them feel real at home. They'll be like, oh, fucking trust that guy. He's not gonna rob me.
What do you mean they've got them in your phone? Well, like Pokemon, they're just in there. Just went up to them
Just send
and
them out
zap.
when they need to play. Send them out when they need to play at Saturday at 1:45 at Marvel.
Yeah, it's kind of like a jail.
That sounds horrendous.
Really does, doesn't it? You
Fair to
know,
say we're never getting their phone numbers.
I think there's a few people that would be listening and not listening, but have been mentioned on this show. We're not getting contact into anytime soon.
No.
Or of a career wrecker
Sounds great.
or a career starter. Depends how you want to smash your glass, you know.
I have two. Hold on. I was about to like full on. I probably shouldn't. So
That's the play of the game. That is the play of the game. Time!
From the impossible angle, and he puts it through, and Portly.
Danger, 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 danger. Butler! Butler, Butler, Butler.
Get around him! Get around him! Edge of the seat.
Jared, welcome to episode 29.
29. Scott Lysette.
Really not a good standard. I was going to go more Gary Ablett Jr. Geelong today.
I
Hit the
love
real,
the first fucking person I thought of was Scott Lysette.
really setting your standards there early.
This is going to be a good episode, everybody. I hope you're excited. I'm thinking of Scott Lysette before I am Gary Ablett Jr. This is very, very
Funny, you're
interesting.
thinking of Scott last there before Port Adelaide are.
Where is he?
Nowhere to be seen. Neither is a contract for him. I'll open that can of worms early.
Your delisted Brent Eagle as well, so it looks like you're running in with zero ruckman next year.
I am 195 centimeters. Probably couldn't pass, but
You
I
need
have rucking experiences. I rucked once in 2019, and my first contest got a corky, but I won the ruck tap. So
all that matters. Exactly right. Hit outs to advantage, baby.
I wouldn't say it was to advantage.
No, probably not. It probably just went down.
I wouldn't even say it went down. I think it sort of fell into me.
Oh yeah. Just happened to be on your side.
I was more worried about the corky.
Oh yeah. You like as you were like grabbing at your leg, you was like, oh fuck, and you just like shit.
They say like men can't multitask, but that day I was carrying an injury and
Was single hand rock tapping.
I looked like some Egyptian ancient thing that was just, you know.
With like 8 arms.
Like they were detached from its body.
What is
And
that from?
that is Friends reference.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Like his
Legs
hands
flail
detached
about
from
like
his
they're
body.
independent from his body.
His legs flail about as if independent from his body.
One of the great quotes.
Oh, one of the great shows.
That's going in out of context too, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. That's right down.
Well, speaking of out of context, maybe we should go into context.
Yeah, maybe we should talk about footy, as in what the podcasts.
It's a glass tab. You can talk about anything these days. What are we going to do in the
That's
off
right on.
season? Chat footy? Please.
Probably.
Do you want to talk about something that happened at the ice hockey today? Because you went.
Yeah, okay. First off, I know arguably 3 rules in the sport. I know about 3 things that happen. I know that if you get it in the back of the net, it's a goal, obviously. Fair enough. I know that there's 2 teams. Shock. And I know that there's 3 periods of play, which is really weird, but anyway, that's fine. Um, so I went in there pretty blind. Ended up coming out loving it. It was awesome. However, funniest thing of all time happened. They like go on the ice and they do like they do in the baseball, like the first pitch kind of thing. Like they get someone to come in and do it kind of thing. And they're like the throw of like the toss of the puck, whatever it is. Their best was Mason Cox. And they like get through like this intro and they're like, and joining us today, like like AFL superstar, and it's like this guy with a thick American accent saying it. We're like, who the fuck is this gonna be? We're like, who have they even brought out? And then all of a sudden his big head rolls up on the screen and everyone kind of looked back down, saw him walking out, and just went, "Ah, yes." Just booed the shit out of him. And he looked so like taken aback. He was like, wow. Okay.
Mason Cox getting booed
It
by
was
his own countrymen.
it was so funny. It was a mixture of just everybody just booing this man. And it was hilarious. It was really funny. And I'm glad I witnessed it. Because I was joining in. I was like, yeah, fuck it, this is fun. Boo!
He's so mentioning that on his podcast.
Absolutely. He's been like, I went to toss the thing and they just booed me.
You reckon they were booing him because like he plays for Collingwood or because he moved from the country?
Collingwood. I like they did like a thing where it was like how many people are from like America and how many people were from here. And like the majority were just locals that were here. And so it was 100% people that just fucking hate Collingwood. Just booing the shit out of him. And I was like, awesome. Really good.
All the Carlton fans that couldn't make it to Brisbane.
Yeah. They
They
were just hanging
booked
out at
their
the ice hockey.
weekend. They couldn't go
The
to
Giants
Brisbane
fans
and
that
they've already,
came down Friday,
yeah, all in their high
hanging
vis.
around.
Wouldn't know anything about the fucking sport, but oh, he's tall.
Oh,
Plays for Collingwood.
I certainly knew nothing.
Boo!
It was so good.
Did you scream out pucker up?
No, but I was just screaming out like all the hockey terms that I knew. Fly V formation, guys. Flying V.
The Mighty Ducks.
Quack. Quack.
Maybe we should have like a hockey team.
Absolutely. Maybe we should turn this into a hockey podcast. I'm so prepared now. I've watched one whole game ever. I'm so ready. Here we go.
I'm trying to think of a name.
No, it's fine. That'll come to us. It's fun.
Puckers, something. The Ice Puckers. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. Or maybe we just don't have a team. Like you said, have a podcast and we call it like, I don't know, Hype Hockey or something. Just
Net sticks and chill. Okay, that is really niche. That is as niche as we're ever gonna get.
The hard puck.
Oh boy. Oh,
I've got nothing else.
nah, you know what? Awesome.
Yeah, good gear that. Just quickly, VFL. The
Yes.
flag was played between a flag. The grand final was played between Gold Coast and Werribee. And for the first time ever, Gold Coast have won a flag.
They did it. I was really hoping Werribee was going to win this. A fight for the little guys, a fight for the standalone clubs in the VFL. But the Suns did it with very many AFL players on their team. But it's whatever. Like they were. I think they finished top. So, well, there was these two teams that were always going to be there. So very good. I told you deliberately not to look at the stats for this game because I want to read this
Yep.
out. Okay. I can't remember what the name of the Norm Smith version is for the VFL Grand Final. However, if anybody is ever going to win this from a losing team, this man deserves it, right? Sean Manor
Mhm.
will start, we'll start low. 6 marks. It's fine. Like that's
Mhm.
fine. Four inside 50s. Yeah, whatever. 28 disposals. Good, right? 28 disposals.
I like that. Yep.
6 goals too.
6 goals, 28
Six
touches,
goals
four
too.
inside 50,
28 touches. 6 marks,
marks.
four inside 50s. And they
Uh,
lost.
Did he win the medal?
I have no idea. I didn't see. Holy
Imagine if he
fuck.
doesn't win the medal.
I've just seen something unfucking believable as well while we're looking at this. Ned
On
Moyle,
podcast. Mm-hmm.
Gold, Gold Coast Ruckman Ned Moyle, 12 touches, whatever. 72 hitouts. What's up this game?
What? What?
What kind of game got played today? What the fuck?
And the scoreline was 112 to 93. That seems stock standard, but someone's kicked 6 goals, two, and had 28 and 72 hitouts.
72 hitouts for Ned Moyle. Holy fuck. That is a game of football. Wow.
Is he on their list?
Yeah, he is. He played in the practice matches this year.
I'm gonna just email Port.
Heard you were looking for a
There's a,
ruckman.
there's a bloke that can replace Tiku and Lysette playing in the VFL Granny. He's just had 177 hitouts. Might want
Someone
to
do
just,
something.
pick up the
Someone
phone,
please.
lads. No, just whatever draft picks you got left.
Send him that way. Holy shit,
Cripper, I
man.
know you're watching, brother. I'll hit you up during the week. It's all good.
Yeah, that's fun.
Weird grand final.
Weird grand final, but that's what it is. Gold Coast Premiers.
It's funny that their VFL team won the flag and their AFL team has never made finals.
And don't look like it.
You know when like local teams stack their Bs because they just
Yeah.
know
Big
halfway
time.
through the year they just stack it?
Yep.
Yeah, Gold Coast.
They love it, Gold Coast. They're like, yeah,
Oh, good
fuck
on
it.
them. Sun
Yeah.
is shining for them.
Them. Not
Uh,
the ads.
nah. Damien Hardwick doesn't even know what he's getting into. Poor bloke.
Poor
Do
fella.
you reckon he just signed just to coach the VFL team?
I reckon he just signed. He's had his first couple trainings. He's like, "Holy fuck! Like this is gonna be rough." And then he's just watched the VFL team and be like, "You know what? Maybe we'll be alright.
We've got something to work with.
Maybe I can sort this out. I'll be okay.
That Ned bloke seems all right.
Give him a run."
He'd be very good with his hands too, I reckon. Like, I don't know, tying shoelaces, wrapping presents, wrist work.
That's what you meant. Yeah. Oh. Oh. And let's add Ned Moyle to the list of not getting on. No worries.
Cripper. You're looking for someone to get that construction work at Alberton done a bit quicker. I know someone that's good with his hands.
Yeah. Good lord.
How was that yuck? He's like nailing. Yeah, never mind. Anyway. Yeah. Should we just
We
get
should talk,
into it?
yeah, we should talk football because we've been not talking football.
No, we talk VFL flags and hands.
Sure.
Anyway, prelim player of the week. Do you have one?
I've sort of had like a little look because I wanted to pick someone that was like not as I wanted to pick like a coach's award-esque kind of player, like one that just kind of played their role, whatever. But then I looked at Jordan De Goey's game and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like he
Yeah.
was so good. He was so good. Like
Yeah.
I the other player that I had in mind in terms of like my coach's award version was Connor Ryden because he was fucking unbelievable in that last quarter, especially. But
He's
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Anyway, go on.
But yeah, De Goey like played one of the best games he's ever played in his career. Like pretty much when the Giants were storming in that second quarter, like they tend to do, he like was the only one that really held firm and just got him out of trouble every single time. And yeah, 34
Yeah.
disposals, like 74% disposal efficiency. It was great.
I like that a lot. And I tried to do the same, but this bloke caught my eye up at the Gabba. And I'm pretty sure his first name's pronounced Caden or
Yeah, or
Keaton.
Keaton. Yeah,
Caden. Either way,
yeah,
last name Coleman. Didn't kick goals, but he hit every single target that was presented to him wearing his blue boots. And I'm telling you now, that man is a star of the future. And it's great because we've seen certain games in finals this year where players that not normally are your big top shelf type stand up and win games. De Goey obviously was the exception on Friday night, but Coleman, when the whips were cracking and they were 5 goals down,
Oh,
just pinpointed a pass going through the corridor, opened it up, they kicked their
I
first
know
goal.
exactly. Yeah, I know
Oh!
exactly the one you were talking about. I know exactly the kick, the moment, and as soon as he kicked it, I was like, "Fucking good kick!" It's
And then they
fucking
went
real.
chain of handballs, bang, 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 hit Hipwood on the chest, kicked their first goal of the game. And then he just did it time after time after. Composure.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's his
God.
thing. He just looks like he has time. Like he's just so good.
I would, he would be a fantastic waiter because he
On a
would just,
platter.
so
Yes,
glad you're
I
with
got him.
me.
Yes.
So glad you're with me on a
Uh,
play. These fans would hate it though.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even care. I don't like Melbourne very much. So you know what? Shame.
Really?
I don't know what it is. I just a lot of their players really piss me off. It's fun. I
I'm
go.
starting to think this
Yeah.
podcast is really just becoming a raw emotion.
Yeah, no, I won't get into it. I just a lot of their players really fucking piss me off. Like I just
Okay, good. I'm.
annoying. Yeah.
I agree. Like they just. If you made me put a ladder of first 18 teams I like to dislike ratio, kind of in there, just bottom 8, sitting
Yeah,
there.
they're definitely low. Them and Geelong are fucking alright now.
I have my reasons for Geelong.
Same. Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
How good.
I'm happy with it. I'm happy with those players. Very well done.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Speaking of well done, and I don't know how to feel about this, but Collingwood GWS just seems to hit the nail on the head when it comes to prelim finals.
Mm. Oh yeah.
1 point. One.
Singular
One
point.
point. The fact that GWS held their own and it was 97,500 there, and I reckon the half were just construction workers in high vis because they had no idea what was going on.
No.
But the fact they held their own in that crowd, in that atmosphere, after 2 quick goals they kicked Collingwood early on, phenomenal, man. What a
Mm.
game of football.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where it's low scoring, which people look at low scores and they're like, oh, that's not very good. But this is one of those examples of low scoring, good football. Like just a good finals game of football. That's like the good grand finals are usually really low scoring because they're like tight and it's like they're the best ones. This is an example of that. Like the good finals, 58 to 57. Like you look at the like looking at the worm, like it's like it had all the makings of a perfect game. And then, like I've said this about the Giants, they have a very good advantage in that because they are constantly playing games where they're so always outnumbered to the crowd. They get used to that kind of thing. If it was if it was Collingwood versus a team that has like sort of a bit of attendance, but not like a massive amount, like Collingwood versus like St Kilda, we go into a game against Collingwood like at Marvel, whatever, it'll be okay. At the G though, there'll be 75, 80,000 there, but a lot more of them will be Collingwood and would get shaken out of our boots because it's like, fuck. Whereas the Giants deal with that every single week
Yeah,
to the point now where it can get to a game like this and it doesn't hit them as hard as it should. And
yeah,
they can hold their own. And yeah, what a game. Like, unbelievable.
yeah. It was. I like that point because GWS. It's almost to the point where they treat it like the crowd is cheering against them, but they use it like they're cheering for them.
Yeah.
Like it's that mentality, and they just don't care. Like I think it was early in the second quarter. Yeah, early in the second quarter, they got a run on, and they obviously put everything on their terms, and they just played like they didn't care. They knew where they were, they knew what they were doing, and I just led by Toby Green, led by Tom Green, Josh Kelly in the middle. Briggs is sensational. Uh, Cogs, like they're big names. Cogs,
Yeah.
Whitfield, like you mentioned before, like Connor Iden, just in that
Unbelievable.
last quarter. I could name their whole list, and each and every one of them contributed in a way where they were exceptional the whole night.
Yeah. Like, well, I remember, like, again, me and mum were watching this game, and like, mum knows enough to get by when it comes to like footy and stuff like that, but she's not obviously like fully like invested all the time. But in like halfway through that last quarter, she was like, "Is that Iden's playing pretty good?" I was fucking, you're right. He's having a fucking seriously good quarter. Like, I remember checking, and yeah, he had 7 touches in the last quarter, but 4 of them intercepts. Like, he was every time the Pies were getting it out, he was standing right in the middle of the wing and had it every time and didn't rush, didn't panic, just picked it up, turned around, like looked back first, assessed his options, and then worked back the other way. He was just unbelievable, kind of in that last quarter. But yeah, like I think it also says a lot about the Pies, though, in the fact that the Giants rallied hard like they did in that second quarter, and the difference between the Pies and the Saints and Port. When the Giants got on their runs, we really struggled to fight back. The Pies, like Giants, got on their run like they always do, but they just went, nah, not having it. We're coming back. We're doing it ourselves, kind of thing. And then yeah, like led by, like we said before, De Goey, Nakos in his first game back is still just as good as he was. Yeah, like it's that experience and that like top end talent just dragged him over the line.
Players like Jack Crisp, I thought was instrumental in the last
Yeah,
quarter. You look at still side one. I thought Tom Mitchell's contested game was unreal. Like the
yeah,
50-50 contest in that last quarter, he was winning him, getting the hands out. They were just they're just there. Like,
yeah,
and early on, I think their big men sort of stood up, and I think they'll really miss McStay next week. But he was instrumental, probably the whole final series in general. But
yeah.
I think the way they just went about things withheld the pressure. And I think it was a start in that last quarter where it was 7 minutes without an inside 50 for either side. It was just
It's
played
just
between the arc.
ping pong.
What
Yeah,
the hell is that?
unreal. It's that pressure, like the way they had both teams were absorbing the pressure all throughout the game, and then like Collingwood this year are the perfect example of players just redeeming themselves either during like through the year or from like what they said before to now. Like people said to go, he had to become an A grade midfielder. He has done that. Tom Mitchell early in the year, people were saying, I am on this, right? If the Collingwood like don't include Tom, like they'll play him now, but there was a period in the middle of the year where they weren't playing him or it was the sub or whatever. Play Tom Mitchell.
Hmm.
He's a good footballer. I am fully on the Tom Mitchell's a good footballer fucking bandwagon because he is. He was so good and he is so good with his contested ball. He gets it out so many times. McDade did the exact same thing. He was like lamented, obviously, he had a lot of injury this year and stuff. And he's redeemed himself this final series, like the last how many weeks. They've redeemed so much Collingwood, and it's to the point now where a lot of their players are going to be at the peak of their fucking powers by the time next week rolls around. And it's going to be good to watch, I think.
Yeah, I like it. What I didn't like though was the fucking umpiring.
Yeah, horrendous. Truly
Like,
horrendous.
you did mention Nick Dacos, and I will tie these two together. Dacos came back from injury with a bit of see you next Tuesday about him.
He's a bit angry, wasn't he?
It was,
He nearly killed Toby Green, nearly took his head off,
oh,
and then smashed Daniels into the turf. That one was a bit like more whatever, but like he's a lot more aggressive now than he was before.
yeah, I don't know what he did while he was recovering, but there was something about him that definitely created I don't know, a disliking, to be honest. Didn't like,
He's joining the Collingwood of old. He's joining the dislike all the Collingwood players.
must have run like a little mini camp with him, his brother, and his dad. It's a little Dacos camp. All right, we're going to put a bit of
Get
Northern
angry.
Territory into you.
Let's get real angry. Let's just
Yeah.
really, yeah,
They do
absolutely.
like the special groups. What do you hate about him the most? What do you hate?
Dacos.
Yeah, like the two Dacoses are sitting there eye
Yeah,
to eye, and they're just like,
yeah.
I hate this about you, and just take it out on other people.
And then just start just beating the shit out of everyone.
Love to be the security footage of their household. Also, did you see the photo of him during the week at training?
Yeah.
There's two sides to that man.
And I like one of
Really like one of them.
them.
Actually, no.
No.
Anyway, no. But for this podcast purposes, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, so Collingwood make the grand final, crowd 97,000, and just everything has just been absolutely wild for them. The McStay injury, though, biggest sour point, I think. And Taylor
Yeah.
Adams is obviously waiting in the wings. Do you reckon it'll affect them?
I don't think so. They didn't have McStay for a fair bit this year, and they still played just as good as they were. And I'm also fully on as much as we hung shit on him earlier, Mason Cox. I'm fully on the
Yeah.
wagon of you need to play Mason Cox. Having a 200 and fucking 40 centimeter player out on the field is a big advantage because it demands attention. You can't just be like, nah, like he won't mark it if we like leave him like it's fine. Like, because he will mark it because he's fucking as tall as a building. Like, you need to play him. And so I think Darcy Cameron and Mason Cox playing them together, that's enough, I think. I don't think they need a mixed day. And it'd be nice to have him for sure. But I think it opens the door for John Noble to come back in. And I think he's going to be the difference grand final day. I think
Bit of
Noble
pace.
brings so much pace and he's going to have this fire in his gut of they've dropped me. I need to fucking make my way into this side. And I'm going to prove why I should have been playing the last two.
Yep.
And so I think I would prefer them to play Noble over Adams, especially because Adams might not even be cleared. So I would love them to play Noble, please. Please,
I think there's
Collingwood.
a bit of personal preference for it, but also I agree.
Yeah, and like I just think I love John Noble before he was out. I was really upset when he got dropped because I just think he's a very like unassuming, but he's quick and he's got good skills and he's exactly what they need. So I would love to see John Noble come back in. I don't know.
Bit of coaches award biasness.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of the ones that as soon as you say coaches award, I'm like, John Noble. He's my guy.
John Noble's sort of like the poster boy for it.
Yeah, him and fucking Jimmy Webster. That's two boys. My
Jimmy
boys.
Webster was almost to the point where he got it twice.
Yeah, I was close. 2 weeks in a row.
Flip side, GWS almost got me to the point where I was tearing up when Toby Green was talking post game. Their journey is probably one of the greatest turning points. Obviously, a lot of the story with Carlton as well, 14th and 15th make prelims, but GWS for me, just the never give up. The on-field mantra of it's us against them, the off-field shenanigans with social media and just embracing everything that comes their way. They are top tier in terms of every asset of football on and off the field, led by Adam Kingsley.
Yeah, they are. The way I'd like to describe the Giants is if the AFL was becoming like a global sport, and like we do with the NBA and the NFL, we don't really associate with really cities. It's more like you come into the sport, you look at a team, you're like, oh, they're pretty cool. Like I will follow them. The Giants would be that team.
Mm-hmm.
If the AFL became a global phenomenon and people were like, oh, let's just start following, they would be the side. They have really cool looking jumpers. Their social media team fucking bangs. And they are just like, young and they just have so much fun and they're coached well and they play well. They would be the perfect team if you were just joining the league and just had no allegiance to anything. They would be the ones. They are so fun and like their story is so much better than like not so much better than Carlton's. Obviously, it's great, but people wrote off the Giants before the season even started, and
Mhm.
even then got to halfway through the year and people were writing them off again, and then they fought back from both of those playing a prelim. Fucking why not?
I really like that point where you say like if people from outside Australia, like worldwide, come in, if there's one team that's GWS, it's the reason because they run their club
Mhm.
like they're playing to an
Yeah,
international audience.
and they like the
Worldwide
production.
mentality.
Yeah, yeah, the production value of their things like. It's stuff that goes beyond what a lot of other teams are doing right now, and it like appeals to so many more audiences, and like that is why they would be a fucking awesome team to follow if you were coming
That might be the talk this week.
in. There it is.
Normally it takes 2 days to decide, but
There we
it's
go.
like you're out of context. Oh, that's mine. Write that one
Tick that
down.
one. Tick that one off.
Um, anything else you want to add from this game?
Um, Nothing really other than yeah, like I didn't have anything else written down. I wrote down my writing down was Giants good. That was part of it. That was the first line of my writing down on my page is Giants good, and then I was like I should probably go into more detail. But yeah, like good
No, it's
game.
good. Dog's
I would have
bad.
been happy to see. I would have been happy to see these two teams in the grand final. To be honest,
Oh boy, that would have been probably an easier ticketing issue.
yeah, people fucking like it's don't get the world stud on the tickets. Oh,
I'll touch on it later.
yeah, yeah, fair enough.
Otherwise, we'll be here all night.
Yeah,
And for some, that's great. For others, no.
yeah,
And by others, I mean us too.
yeah. We need sleep.
Help. We didn't touch on the fact that I'm sober this weekend and you're not.
I'm not, but I feel good. Like I'm not hungover. That I usually. I'm tired for sure. I'm not hungover.
First time in a while.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, like, we're
Yeah,
feeling good.
yeah. Both first time in a while we're both feeling like on the positive.
Yeah, I'm leaning. I'm more positive than negative, which is good.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's the first prelim. Now, we'll go to the second prelim. This Brisbane beating Carlton, 16 points. One of the weirdest prelims I think I've witnessed. And it's not for the fact that the game of footy was, tale of two halves in a way. It was just literally one quarter each of
Mm.
domination. And then it was that standoff game we
Hand.
always talk about. Yeah,
The
talk
hand.
to the
Yeah.
hand type atmosphere. And it was really funny for me. Like my sister, who's like, she doesn't really watch football much. She goes, it's because the sun went down. Carlton also went down. So when the sun was up, Carlton were playing fantastic, kicked five
Might be
goals to
onto something
nothing.
here.
Second quarter comes out, the sun's gone.
Yeah, might be onto something. Let's
So
look at
that's better analysis than Joe Watson gave.
fucking think we start on Joe.
Was it Joe?
Yeah, yeah. Don't.
Joe.
He's a character. The
Hey, Joe,
analysis
if you
from
want to
both games
come
this
on.
weekend. The analysis from both games this weekend was interesting. Hello, Patrick Dangerfield. We're looking at you again.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
oh,
Yeah,
oh.
can't get
We'll talk
started on it
about
because
that.
we'll talk about it forever. But like, they were bad. Anyway, the game itself. I will be the first to admit I pretty much wrote off Brisbane after Carlton kicked the first five
Oh,
goals.
yeah.
Carlton kicked the first five, and I went, "Well, this game's over." And I started getting changed because I had to go out. It's like, all right, like
I started making the grand final graphic with Carlton players.
it was
I had to delete it.
yeah. I think what I kind of forgot to factor in, the Lions had that week off. So like there was always going to be a chance they were going to come out a little bit stumbly and like not as switched on as Carlton were because they've just played two very intense finals and they've still got that like that vibe. So I kind of didn't factor in that it might take a little bit for the Lions to get going. And then when they got going, they fucking got going. So it was a yeah, like you said, really weird game of football because yeah, first quarter domination for the Blues, second domination from the Lions, and you're like maybe it's like a scoring end kind of deal, and then the Lions just said nah and just held them away for them second half.
There was a stat, and I can't remember where it was. It was on Twitter, obviously, but I can't remember the stat. But it was the left-hand side of screen for goals.
Yeah. I did say that.
I was like, oh my God,
It's a
it's
five.
incredible.
It's
That's
a
a
real
very
weird vibe
weird
going around.
stat.
We'll find out
So
next week in the granny.
yeah.
Pick to the left of
So
screen first, please.
yeah, doesn't matter if there's wind, rain,
Nah,
whatever.
the
Tornado
fucking
at one
left of
end.
screen.
You go to left of screen. Whoever kicks the left of screen next week will win the grand final.
That's a good one. I'm gonna be watching the coin toss with fucking serious like
Yeah,
intensity.
gamble responsibly for those out there that like to put the coin toss in there, me
Yep,
included.
yep, absolutely.
Whoever kicks the left of screen, I'm putting money on the team. Anyway,
There we go. I like it.
interesting. But this game, let's go with Carlton first because I feel like they deserve the same amount of credit we gave GWS,
Yes, 100%.
but it finally caught up to them.
Yeah,
And I think I don't know what it was, whether it was the atmosphere in the end, the sun, or just overall Brisbane just being the better side in the end. But it was obviously a combination of all because I think they just ran out of steam.
that's my sort of biggest thing is that they have had two very, very intense finals in a row. They were battered coming into this game, had a lot of players having serious injuries. There was going to be a fair few surgeries at Carlton in the next couple months, let me tell you. But like they had so many players coming into this game battered and bruised. They were so tired. Lions have had so much like rest and time off. It was going to be a struggle. And then so when they came out to they got out of the blocks early, and then the Lions had that big second quarter. I was like, I don't think Carlton are going to be able to hold it with them because they had a lot to fight to get it to them early, but they spent a lot of tickets in the first quarter, and then we're like, fuck, now we have to do it again. Like
Yeah,
it was going to be a struggle. But to get this far again, like the Giants, like that 14th and 15th after round, whatever it was, like that is insane. And again, I need to give credit to the guy because I gave him a lot of shit earlier in the year, but Sam Walsh fucking played amazing again. Like has had one of the best final series you could have asked for him, and he's now better off for it. You know, he's got that finals experience now. He's won two of them, so those Blues are going to be a fucking sight to see in the next couple of years, I reckon.
I hope so because we've seen teams do this before and then just completely fall off. And I hope for Carlton's sake it isn't the case. I reckon their leadership is one that's going to be really promising future wise, but also led by Patrick Cripps, who's obviously probably out of everyone that was banged up and bruised, the big one.
Yeah.
And he still kicked his two goals. He only had 13 touches. I think in that second half, they were trying to get him the ball as much as possible, get him in the game. But yeah, it's probably caught up to him a little bit. And it's the same, you look at players like, well, I even look at the disposal list. It's like Sam Walsh had 33. Your next best is Mitch McGovern with 24,
Yeah.
who was phenomenal in the back half. Nick Newman had 23. Your next best is Marchbank with 20. So after quarter time, your midfield's sort of just fallen away. Hewitt 20, Chera 20. I'll talk about Akers only had the 18, Doherty 19. All your key players that normally get that 22 to 25 touches fell away a bit. And we go
Yeah.
back to the, being banged up and bruised. Obviously, Doherty had his shoulder. Blake Akers had half his head shaved off by a ball. Um, yeah. So I think, I don't know. Do you reckon it was selection wise as well that might have played a part? Because Kemp, I thought, was really, really good. And bringing in Boyd, they had quite a bit of dominance after quarter time. And I think it might have played a
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, the thing is, like, Boyd himself actually had a really good game, like, just by himself. Like, he actually came in and kind of proved why they put him in. But I think, like, I don't think you needed to drop Kemp. I think Kemp had that kind of experience with the team, with the side. I think selection's okay. But, like, again, it's just their Carlton's issue, I think, is that once you hit that 23rd spot on their list, the quality really drops off. Um, and they need a lot more depth to be able to do this, to be able to swap players in and out. Like you can't have a guy that's in the VFL, like, their best player in the VFL is Paddy Dow, but he comes to the AFL side and he can't really do much. That's just because they've got the gap between their best VFL and their worst in their making the AFL is a lot worse than a lot of the other teams. So like their selections have to be fucking pinpoint, otherwise they will struggle. Um, but one selection that obviously came in, he was always going to, and credit where it's due, he came back and put in one of his better performances of the year, Harry Mackay. I thought he was fucking sensational. Um, in that game, I thought he played one of his best games of the year. He's obviously kicked the 2 goals, but it's his work around the ground like it always is. Like he just takes contested mark after contested mark, and he's a really good link up between the midfield and the halfbacks and stuff like Sard and Doherty to Garley, who struggled again, plain and simply struggled. But Harry, I thought, had his best game for the year, and he was fucking outstanding.
Well, that's the thing. Like you talk about Harry Mackay, Charlie Curnow was the dynamic duo, and they were saying like, oh, Carlton played better without Harry. This whole final series, I thought, um, well, Charlie's obviously been the man, but they haven't had Charlie stand up. And I think some people are questioning that criticism. I think it's okay because if your big key forward's not standing up in the big games, eventually it's going to catch up to you. And obviously, you're playing up against a quality defensive unit like Harris Andrews is there. Coleman was sensational. When you get beaten by Darcy Gardner, though, who's playing his third or fourth game for the year,
Yeah,
you start to get the question marks around you. But yeah, no, he was superb, I thought. And the way the crowd got around him when he kicked the goal,
yeah, awesome.
I thought it was at the G,
Oh fuck
not
yeah!
the Gabba G,
About that crowd,
MCG.
holy shit! Like it sounded insane. Every time Carlton kicked a goal, it was just as loud as the Brisbane one. And then the only time I think when I knew the game was over, Charlie Cameron kicks his goal and Country Roads, and the crowd starts singing it, and I was like, "Oh, they're getting on top." Looks like they're
And
really
that was
they're putting the screws. They're putting the
and that was
screws
in
in
the
a little bit.
that was really early in the third quarter too.
Yeah, like really early in the third, and I was like, "Oh, that one's gonna fucking hurt." I think that one might be the one that'll hurt him a bit.
Yeah, and they had missed opportunities as well, Carlton, which might have changed the dynamic of the momentum. But yeah, at the end of the day, you probably always had the feeling Brisbane are going to win this one. Um, about time they actually did it though.
I know, like that was the hardest part for them, getting through the grand final on their own merit, and they did it. Fair play to them. You mentioned his name before, Harris Andrews. That first quarter,
Oh,
Carlton would be playing in the grand final right now if Harris Andrews didn't play that first quarter. Because Carlton would have kicked about 4 or 5 more goals and they would have just held him off the rest of the game. That was like, I can't even explain how good he was in that first quarter. Every single time it came in there, and there was a point where the ball bounces, everyone's waiting for it. And from out of frame, Harris Andrews runs fucking 40 kilometers an hour at this
yeah,
ball and hits it flat chested and just keeps going. And I was like, fuck,
yeah, it
he's
was like
having a
that.
good game. Yeah,
He's just
I was like,
sprinted
fuck,
through.
he's having a good game. And he held them in that game when they were not playing very well and deserves to be playing after because fucking hell, he was good.
Captain's game, and I love it. I love when a captain stand up in the big moments. It was that one-handed mark as well that was falling down with the ball,
Yeah.
took the mark,
Yeah.
intercept. Oh, it was just yeah. It brings a tear to your eye if you're a defender because
God, it was good
it's
to watch.
beautiful to watch.
It was
It is
fucking good to
so
watch.
good to watch. It was also the I think it was still the first quarter. He just sprinted off his opponent and helped Darcy Gardner out with
Yep.
Kerno. Just punched the ball to the
Smashed over
boundary.
the
And
line.
he's like,
Yeah,
boys, just go with him.
go with him, please. He was fucking outstanding. I thought, yeah, like him, Dunkley was amazing again. He's been amazing all year, though. Danaher did exactly what to do. Hipwood stood up when they were bad as well. Like Hipwood kicked
Yep.
that first goal and steadied them. And I've been a critic of Hipwood, and I always have my sort of opinion on Hipwood, but his game I thought was very good as well. So all their big names stood up and did what they needed to do.
Connor McKenna is the one I want to mention. That second quarter when the whole run on was happening, pinpointing accuracy and everything, and he's just taking the P155 like you tweeted because it was just so fun to watch.
Kick the goal. Oh, fucking good
Oh,
game.
that goal!
Unreal
Oh
game.
my lord!
Sexy as. Like,
Mm.
not many players could do that, but Conor McKenna can, and he was fucking amazing again. So, like I said,
Connor
the players,
McKenna.
yeah, players that have done it.
Hang on, Connor McKenna. Connor McKenna. There you go.
Hannah McKenna. You know what?
Hannah.
Hannah Mc, oh, fuck it. I don't care. You know what? He was very good.
Connor
All their
McKenna's
names that
camp.
have played amazing all year played amazing again, and got them over the line.
You know what the difference is, and I noticed this on the weekend, and it took me. I think a few people might have noticed this before, but bigger bodies,
Yeah,
bigger aggression. Just they're well framed. Even their skinnier players, they're tall, big enough to
yeah.
hit a contest. And at the end of the day, you add it all up, bigger bodies at the contest, combine that with you playing at home, and you get your momentum going. Hard to stop. So full credit to them for making a grand final, which sets us up for Brisbane Collingwood next week.
20 years on from '03. So
Don't
interesting.
really
I
think that matters, really.
No, it's just interesting that like directly 20 years on. But what I'd like, because it hasn't happened since 2014, which is a stat that I found today and I wrote down. um, the top two teams in the playing the granny for the first time since 2014, 1 versus 2. I like that. It means that the league works. Everything is working.
The
How it's
league is
meant to
good
work,
again.
it's working.
We can keep the finals by.
Everything is working how it is. Yeah, exactly right. That I hate that though. Like I hate it because I hate the finals bye, and I wish it was like 7th versus 8th or something like that. Like I wish it was a Swans Giants granny because like it would have been like get rid of the finals bye. If Collingwood had gone straight sets after the finals bye, fucking we would have had the rule changed next week.
Yeah, but the
But
AFL are
now
sitting there
they're in it.
going, vindication,
Yeah, now they're
vindication.
both in it. They're like, that's what I fucking thought.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah,
It works. 9 years later,
it worked.
welcome.
So there you
Good.
go.
But yeah, that's two prelims.
Prelims.
Obviously to GWS and Carlton, commiserations. Adam Kingsley, Michael Voss, top two coaches of the year. Kingsley gets it in a landslide. And yeah.
There it is. Season's done. It's brutal at this point because people get so far, like, and then lose it in the prelim. It's a tough week.
What do we do?
Yeah.
What do we do? You want to read out the ladder?
Really loud.
No, I'm not going to.
Okay.
I could, but I won't.
That's okay.
You know how they do it, like, oh, you finish sixth after the final series? I don't like that.
Yeah. No, I don't like it either. At all.
I
Finals
just
is
find
different.
that just insulting.
Yeah.
Well, not insulting, actually, because, it's fair, but, like, when someone says you finish sixth, but then, like, for example, Port, they finish sixth, but we really just finished third, or
We
equal
just finished
second,
third,
I
didn't
should
we?
say. We were
Yeah.
second, actually.
Oh, yeah. Because you were in it after Melbourne.
Yeah, the time frame.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that. Suck shit, Melbourne. Well done, dickheads. Could have played a bit later and you would have finished fifth, but
If
yeah. Patrick Dangerfield saying as well that there's a roof on MCG and they blew off. A lot of shit happening at the moment. There was a lot of commentary things, right, that I enjoyed and didn't enjoy from the weekend. Before we go around the glass table, two things. One, the Patrick Dangerfield comment. Two, Hamish McLaughlin referencing Rocky. He said Nick Newman needs a mick
Solid.
so he can get cut.
Yep.
Because boy, oh boy, the temptation to watch Rocky after that was high.
That was high.
It was so high. I rewound it back and watched it again.
Yeah, of course. Just to be like, Adrian.
No, Nick Newman. Yo, Nick Newman. I did it. Anyway, should we go around the glass table?
Let's do it.
Right.
Absolutely.
What did we do this week?
We did 2 questions, but we're going to do one that got absolute bulk replies. Who is the best player to never win a Brownlow medal? And I included Scott Pendlebury into this one, and we got fucking replies. Before we get into it, there is one that's really, really funny to me.
Who's that?
Just because, like, okay. So this guy comments, right, and says only the 3 best players ever: Coleman, Lethal Lee Matthews, and Ablett Senior. Fair enough. We had a lot of Ablett Senior, Lee Matthews. They get mentioned a lot. Wayne Carey as well. Then the guy makes a different tweet and goes, Pendles would be so far down the list, my pen would run out of ink. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I was just mentioning him as a player. He's played like the most games as captain for Collingwood. He's been very good. Then, beyond that, a day and a half later, he goes back to that tweet and writes a fucking list.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay. Yeah.
He just
That's
copied
fun.
and pasted. He just
It's just
copy and
fun.
pasted.
He just fucking. I'm just picturing him like waking up the next day and being like, I need to back. I found it
Rickster,
really
if you're
funny.
watching, brother. Thank
And
you.
you can tell he's a Carlton fan because like he's got a massive hit in the middle where he goes like Stephen Kernahan, Craig Bradley, Stephen Savani, Alex Linko, John Nichols, Sammy Valence, and you're like, okay, like
So every Carlton player to exist.
every single Carlton player that's ever put on the jumper is apparently above Scott Pendlebury on old Rickster's list.
I wish to get Rickster just to do the whole segment.
So funny, man. I was sitting there pissing myself. Anyway, let's get some good ones.
I saw that comment pop up and I was like, oh, that's handy. At least we can spread it out. But I didn't see the comment before.
Oh, really funny.
Do you like
What do you
any?
got? Yeah, well, I put Buddy as my one. Because I just think he's one of the best of the modern era. Obviously, I think if he was going to win it, could have been 2008 when he, kicked 100. And then obviously
Yeah.
Dobbo's done the same. Except Dobbo, I put it as Hawthorn Buddy, and he put it as Sydney Buddy, and I just found that really funny because it's the same player. Like it doesn't matter. But I was like, that's funny.
One's a bit older.
Yeah, that's fine.
I really like mine because it ratioed the tweet.
Sorry.
So like, suck shit.
The pair posting a photo of a pair player. Wow.
Yeah, but there's a whole lot more Collingwood fans out there. And you posted Pendlebury. Anyway, just a little dub for me.
A little dub for you on your own podcast account. Anthony beats Anthony. Well done, everybody.
Sort of a daily occurrence, but anyway.
Oh boy.
Anyway, he should have won it twice. 2014, he finished second to Matt Priddis. And then if there was 22 rounds in a year, then he would have won it in 2020. But Lachie Neale won it.
No, I think Neil was always going to win that one.
Nah, I disagree.
I think like the 17 games from Neil was like some of the best football wins.
Should have got injured.
I mean, that's true. Definitely Gaz that year. That's fair. He definitely deserves to be one though. I remember that the 2014 one. And just winning that is, yeah, that's all I got about that. To be honest,
Really just defeats the purpose of the question when you get a bloke like Matt Priddis winning a Brownlow. That
Looking at
year,
you,
Robbie
Adam
Gray
Cooney.
was favourite.
Looking at you, Adam Cooney.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
lord.
Yeah. That's maybe
Yeah.
another question for another time.
Yeah,
Who
the most
shouldn't have won the
undeserved
Brownlow?
ones.
Any others you liked?
Well, like I said before, we had a shitload of Lee Matthews, and that's so fair enough. He's one of the best players of all time, and he didn't get one. That's more than fair. We also had a lot of Wayne Carey, and we had a lot of Ablett Senior, all players that, yeah, like some of the best we've ever seen. And then what I like though, Liam McCullough had those three. But then he also added to it and said, if it's currently playing, it's Bond, and that is so fair. Could be different this Monday. We don't know, but at the moment, Bond has been pretty stiff. Every time he has his best year, he just gets pipped just by the much.
Someone mentioned that too when I think I watched something the other day. Someone mentioned that as well. Wouldn't mind a tie,
absolutely.
but we'll get into that. I really liked our good friend Slow Chickpeas. Little drive-by
Yes.
with it. Crows suck, but Andrew McLeod, which
I
is
do love
fair.
Andrew McLeod. I do love Andrew McLeod a lot.
Yeah, I'll
He's
never forget the goal he kicked at against Collingwood at what was then known as Telstra Dome.
oh yeah,
JB and Gary Lyon going mental. Or
absolutely
Dennis.
ballistic.
One of them was commentating. I don't know. But I really like that one.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I do like that a lot. Andrew McLeod is one of those players where, like, when I was first getting into footy, he was like a superstar, and I was like, yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
fair
You just look good.
oh yeah, we have two in a row here for Joel Selwood. It's an interesting one.
I actually thought he won one for half a second, and then realised it was Bartel.
I was going to say, then you realize it was Drew Bartel. Yeah, I disagree. Selwood ever really had a season where you can pinpoint and be like, yeah, he should have, like, he was the best player in the AFL that season. Like, a lot of these players, you can look at them and be like, they were like top two, top three best players in the AFL that season. Pendlebury kind of also falls into that bracket where he's just consistently good, but he's always consistently like not in that sort of upper thing. I think Selwood falls into that in terms of there is not one season where I could look at him and be like, he should have won
Yeah, I agree. I never really thought of him as a star in
it in
that
terms of a Brownlow.
context,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but he was always one of the best when it came to obviously captain and leadership. So I don't know. It really depends on what you want to classify it as. I think people would say it just for the namesake for the resume,
Yeah.
which a lot of this comes to. But if they've had a season or two where they've been pretty dominant, and I think he had a couple where he was in the top five.
Yeah, yeah, but like again, none that you can think right off the top of your head being like, fuck, Selwood's like this season was really good. Him and Pendlebury are the exact same in that they are both two of the best players we've ever seen, but they are we've had this conversation before about club champions and like league
Yeah,
champions.
yeah.
Bont is like that at the moment at that club champion level, and he's never got the Brownlow. Selwood and Pendlebury are that. They are the club champions, where they will be forever remembered as being superstars for their club.
I'll go back the last 10 years
Mm.
and see if you think any of them were actually. Yeah, we'll stop at 2013 because 2012 is a bit.
Sure.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's probably two people in there that don't deserve one anyway. But we won't open that can of worms. So Patrick Cripps, Ollie Wines, Lockie Neal, Nat Fife, Tom Mitchell, Dustin Martin, Patrick Dangerfield, Nat Fife, Matt Prittis 2014, Gary Ablett Jr. 2013. That's your last 10 years.
Mhm.
I think with the seasons that Joel would have had, retired 2022, probably wasn't great in 2021. So you go back from about 2020 onwards. I don't think there's anyone in there barring Matt Prittis you could take away.
Yeah. I think Prittis and maybe this, I think it might have been the second Fife one that was a bit how you going. Like he was still good, but I don't know. I don't know if he was like Brownlow good. But I can't remember if Selwood season, and that's saying something. I can't remember if Selwood was like robbed that year. Like I didn't think, yeah, Selwood should have won it instead of Fife. Like I don't think anyone there is really like is again club champion, not a Brownlow same
So
privilege.
in 2013, he finished second to Gary Ablett,
But again, that's Gary Ablett.
one
So
vote behind.
yeah, but then you look at what Gary was doing at Gold Coast, and you're like, okay, like he was always going to win that, Gary.
Interesting topic, this one. Joel Selwood. What did he do in 2015? Oh, nowhere to be seen. Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah, I got it.
Just trying to counter the argument for the little ones, but you win this one. Hey,
Hey!
small wins for the small clubs.
Any other comments you like?
Yeah, a couple of Robbie Grays for their port base. I liked Brando's Cooter,
Oh yeah,
but that was in a time where Brownlows were, I think, looked at more of a respectable winning
yeah,
medal than what it is
yeah,
today. Like people look forward to the night now more so than
yeah,
the actual winner.
yeah.
It's more of a if your player wins from your club, you celebrate. If not, people are like, well, okay, no
Yeah,
worries.
that's the thing with the Brownlow now is like I still think it's my favorite night of footy. I just love watching it and watching the votes and come in. Like the whole count is like my favorite bit because I'm like, oh, who's gonna win? But I don't actually care that much. Like it's interesting to see who wins, but then when it actually happens, I'm like, oh, fair enough. And then I just turn the TV off. But like,
That's pretty much it.
I don't,
Yeah,
yeah. But back then, the likes of like Plugger was winning Coleman, like was winning Brownlows because it wasn't just midfielders back then. It was like you could be a forward and win it. And then nowadays there's no fucking chance. So
a bit more credibility to it
yes,
back
100%.
then.
100%.
Did you have any others?
I think we mainly covered all of them. Got a few Alex Jeslinkos like I counted before, but again, that's well before my time. Um, and so I don't really have many opinions on Alex Jeslinko to be completely honest with you.
No, I didn't really look at him much in his time.
Yeah, you're a bit like, oh, he's all right.
I don't really think there was a lot there that I could see. I think TV was black and white as well, so kind of hard to get a grasp on the looks aspect of
Yeah,
football.
makes
But
sense.
it sometimes it is what it is. Like full credit, I'm sure he was, yeah, good.
It was good. That's it. Yeah.
That's around the glass table. Very keen for Brownlow Man lot. It's really like I think because Port have a contender as well. Zach Butters and his spread.
Makes you feel a little bit better. Makes you feel more excited to be involved.
Well, the last time we were knocked out of finals, we won a Brownlow medal.
Ollie,
Ollie Wines. Boak was
good
sitting
vibes.
there
Good vibes.
the whole good night.
Yeah.
Like he was Ollie's sitting there with his medal and his glass of it was beer. I'm not sure what he was drinking actually. Bloke sitting at the table smiling. It was really sexy. Really. Just got you going in their suits and ties. Justin Timberlake, real sexy, man. Sexy back. One of your tunes. Getting a bit flustered here.
Well, perfect lead into our next segment.
Speaking of getting flustered and sexy, it's time for
Let's do it.
stupid sexy AFL players.
Stupid sexy.
AFL players.
Stupid sexy AFL players time. This is where we get into the groove of talking about players and their little sexy get-ups when it comes to Brownlow. This time they wear suits and ties. You can't really see a lot, but they're all done up.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Do you have one this week?
I do. So like I said, we were kind of doing our little look at like I'm kind of doing a bit of a retrospective of the year, but I'm mainly looking at a bit of a retrospective on the finals. And I've said this guy's name many times on this podcast already. But I've said that we're going to take a look at our little stupid sexy of the list that we've created and a few others and things like that. And I've gone, who do I look at that's in the finals, that's played well, and I'm like, you deserve it.
Hit
Scotty
me.
Pendlebury.
I already did him.
Yeah, I know.
So we're doing him again?
Yeah. That's what I was saying. We're doing a bit of a retrospective of everything. Of all the players that we've looked at, I'm like, you know what? We're down to a few left in the finals. We're looking at it. Scott Pendlebury. I almost want to barrack for Collingwood because I want to see him win another flag.
Yeah. Daddy Pendlebury just lifting up the cup.
Yeah, right?
Sight to see.
Like when he won it, he was young. He just won a norm. He was still early in his career. Now he's right towards the end. He's probably got 1 or 2 more seasons left in him. And I'd fucking love to see Pendlebury lifting the cup, wouldn't I?
I'd have content for a while if Scott Pendlebury lifted that one up. Do you reckon, before I mentioned mine, do you reckon if he won it, there could be a Joel Selwood moment?
See, I reckon he wants to get to 400. I reckon
Not
he
about that.
cares more about getting to 4. He's very close. I don't know the exact number. I think he's only like 16 games away. He's like
Tell you.
484, 40, oh, no, 484. Jesus Christ. 484 or something
Goodness.
like
So he wants 500.
that. He's played a lot of games.
There's
I
Scott Pendlebury.
think he wants to get.
Are we both looking this up?
Yep.
All right. First one there
I
wins.
found
I've
381.
got two. Damn it. No.
381, but that's not including 382 because it's not include the Giants. So
Aha, I win. Actually, hang on. This says 382 now. So it could be 383.
my brain's broken. One said 381, it didn't include the Giants. I don't know what's happening. Wait, are you on AFL tables? Are you on AFL tables or are you on a different website?
No, on the AFL website.
Okay, the AFL website will be updated. AFL tables isn't updated yet. It's 382.
Are we sure? Do we want to do a count back?
All right, let's go through all Scott Penderbury's games, everybody.
Start from first one.
Here we go.
Go on then.
One.
Ah, ah, ah. 2. Ah, ah, ah. 3.
Okay. Who's yours?
Yeah, look, just the way he went about it. Every single game that he played, started with the against the Saints, came to Adelaide Oval, did it against Port, almost did it against Collingwood at the G. Josh Kelly just went to another level. He's a finals player now. Like I always saw him as a very, very good home and away season player. Never really saw it in finals, but he just announced himself, and I think he's definitely footballing ability, but just a smooth mover.
Yeah, 100%.
He's
like just nice to watch. Nice to watch play football.
Left foot, right foot,
Levitating. That is the best thing that I will ever do on this podcast. That's that went straight from brain to saying it. Like I didn't even think about it when I said it. You just went left foot, right foot, and I was like levitating.
just stupid, sexy, proudly brought to you by Dua Lipa.
And the baby.
To sum everything up, Josh Kelly can have my baby.
Very good.
Doesn't? Yeah, no, it works. I'll go with it.
That's it. Oh man.
Sometimes I think we peak, and then we come back next week, just peak again.
I feel like that Top Gun meme. Sometimes my genius just astounds me.
Top Gun or Top Gear?
Top Gear is what I was about to say.
Jeremy Clarkson. I'm going to insert that clip.
Sometimes my genius is, it's almost frightening.
Writing that down. That's
How's it going? I'm also writing that in the out of context. How about that?
Yeah, no, Jeremy Clarkson, genius.
That's very good.
It's really good. I learned a couple of things during the week, like when you're producing a show and stuff, that you do it on the go. We're doing it live for everyone to see.
Just fly through. Just flying through.
Anyway, let's get into our Brownlow and grand final predictions.
Let's do it.
And goal of the year and mark of the year.
Yes.
Because that's there too, apparently.
Uh-huh.
Let's start with your mark and goal of the year.
Mark and goal of the year. I need to remember all the goals. So goal of the year, I think, is going to be Ashcroft. Something we haven't seen before. He does the Jackie Chan out of midair on the boundary. Fucking ridiculous goal. All of them are good for very different reasons. Like Houston's obviously is the moment, and like the fact that it's wet and it's at the MCG and stuff like that.
That's 150 meters out.
That. And Paul Curtis's where he just fucking falls to just before kicking it. So they've all got their moments, but I think Ashcroft's just something we haven't seen before. So I'm going with Ashcroft, and then my mark of the year is the Himmelberg one versus the Crows. He just fucking flew. It was so high up in the air. And yeah, so that one's gonna be my mark of the year as well.
I'm gonna go mark of the year with Himmelberg versus Crows.
Yep.
No one's beaten it all year. Like that's top shelf, stupid sexy. Harry Himmelberg's gonna be there. Goal of the year, biasness, but also I think we should reward the moment. I think Dan Houston. Like people are like, oh, it's just a set shot. No. It's a set shot. 55 out with a hard as balls ball
Yeah.
He's slogging it from 55 in the wet to win the game after the siren.
I think if there was a moment of the year thing that would have won it. I just think if they're basing it purely off the goal, as in you take away all the like the extraneous everything, you take away all the rest of it and just basing it off the goal. That's what I think they're going to do. So they won't give it to him. But if you're basing it, if you were going to base it on the moment, and then you're basing it off the opposition and things like that, then it becomes the winner. But it'll be
I
interesting.
could do Ashcroft every day, I reckon.
Oh yeah,
I'll just head down to the park.
know.
I'm doing it. Yeah,
Send the video in.
I will. I'll prove it to you. First take as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Good luck.
thanks. I think I need it.
That's it.
Brownlow medal. Who's winning?
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be so good.
Yes.
Um, I would love a tie. I would love a tie. But I think because everyone thinks it's gonna be a tie, it's not gonna be. So I am gonna pick Bakos. I think he does. I think he's out by enough by the time he gets injured to do it. And Butters will be there for sure. Like Butters will be right there because I just think that gap, that patch in the middle where you won 13 in a row, he was best on in a lot of them. So I think he'll be right there, but I think he's just going to do enough to hold on, Dacos.
I'm actually tipping a tie,
Okay. Yeah.
and I think it will be Bont and Butters.
Ooh.
People are writing off Butters because Rosie would take most off him, and I think that's true. But his last 3 games of the year were enough, I think, to get
Yeah.
there. And I think he's probably on par with Bont. We've got to remember the Dogs lost a couple of games towards the back end as well.
West
So,
Coast.
did you know the Dogs lost to the Eagles? How about that?
That feels so long ago. Holy shit. That feels like
It was good as 6 weeks ago.
forever ago. Yeah, wow. Jesus Christ.
So just letting you know. But yeah, that's I think Bont. I think if it's not a tie, Bont wins. And I'm probably being a tad biased as well, but I think Dacos falls 1 or 2 votes behind. We got to remember as well, he did have a couple of quiet ones in there, even before his injury, and the game he played as well against Hawthorn, he wasn't that good as well. So there's a good
Force
4 to 6 week period where he doesn't get votes. The rest, yeah, probably.
It'll be there. Yeah,
It'll
it'll
be a
be.
fascinating count.
Yeah, I think it's those three, and then Track will poll well, but he won't be amazing. And Neil will poll pretty well as well, I think. Um, Other than that, though, that's about.
Who's a smoky, genuine smoky.
You could probably put Neil in that category because no one's really including him with everything else. In terms of genuine smoky, where I'm like, they could just kind of come out of nowhere and like have like a top three finish, like Angus Brayshaw did that year.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
literally.
Jordan Dawson,
I
maybe.
was going to say the same thing.
I think he's going to be one that's going to be like early in the year. He polls votes like
Really well.
he polls really really well early in the year. So I think it will be one that'll be like a top five kind of deal and could like knock one of those ones that everyone expects to be up there out. Other than that though, Taranto maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think much else will be around the mark. There'll be a lot of spread vote getters. And if you're a gambler, good night to gamble.
Absolutely, it is.
A lot of top 5, a lot of top 10 finishes. Do it responsibly though.
My favorite
Throw people out.
market. My favorite market is two poll a vote. I remember a few years ago, it was 2020. Luke Davies Uniacke was paying like 270 to poll a vote. And I was like, I reckon it's overs. And I put like $20 on it and it got up. And I was like, oh,
2 poll a vote.
he
Interesting.
ended up polling like 4. Like he got like two voters. And I was like, fucking.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's a good market.
It was his first year where he had a few games where he was starting to break out a little bit. And I was like, oh,
Poll a vote.
it's a good market. It's a good market to go into.
Gets you thinking, doesn't it?
Have a look when you're off the podcast and see what happens.
I'll have a look.
Yeah.
Have a
Nice.
gander.
Yeah.
All right, grand final. I think this is probably the most important part of it all. And
Mhm.
we obviously won't speak until after well, we'll speak, but like you
The
get it.
podcast.
So
Yes.
this time next week we'll be reviewing the grand final. Brisbane
Uh-huh.
Collingwood at the G, 2 o'clock, normal people time. I don't care. You can give me that look all you want. I don't give a fuck. It says 2:30 on the poster, but I know it's 2 o'clock my time.
The poster is what matters.
The TV guide says 2. Actually, no.
Oh,
Channel 7 said 7 a.m.
oh yeah, because they do the full fucking the pre-game. Yeah.
Does anyone actually get up for the breakfast into game day anymore?
I don't get up for it, but I like as soon as I wake up on grand final day, it's TV on, it's straight on Channel 7. Like that is what I'm doing. Like I don't get up deliberately to watch the whole broadcast, but once I am awake, I'm like, right, time to go. And I just turn on the TV and I'm like, let's watch.
All right, that's good.
Hmm.
Um,
Also, before we get into the game, because it kind of counts as part of the tips too. 27 degrees in Melbourne on Saturday.
mm,
You know what that is?
beers.
Beer drinking weather.
Yeah.
That is beer drinking weather. There is going to be some severely drunk people at the MCG on Saturday.
Neither of us will be it.
Maybe I might be.
We're
Maybe.
not drunk.
Oh no, I'll get drunk after.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
We'll keep that under wraps. But
Unless I
anyway,
can, unless I can snag a ticket in the next 3 days or 4 days.
well, well, who the fuck knows with this ticketing system?
They fucked that royally, didn't they?
How hard is it? Like, really?
Yeah, they fucked it real bad.
Anyway, to those who are going, have fun.
Yes,
Those who
I
aren't
hope
going, beers.
have more fun. I'm either hopefully working, or if I can manage to find a ticket, I'll go. And if not, I will just get absolutely slaughtered anywhere else.
All of those options seem pretty good to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think there's any losing situation right there.
No, I don't lose on Saturday. I think I'm pretty good.
Yep. I
Absolutely.
think I only have one chance because I obviously won't be able to be there. I live in another state, Jared.
Really?
I've heard of South Australia.
No.
Fuck you. Anyway, the game, and for those that are going because they get to attend via ticketing or work or
Mhm.
sneaking in, as I've seen previously on certain things,
Good luck. Good luck.
all the best. Collingwood, Brisbane. We won't do an extensive review. I think this game will be previewed and reviewed enough. Just a quick thought. What's making the difference in this game? And then your tip.
Yeah. Okay. So I think people are already writing off the lines, and I don't think you should do that. Um, People have a lot of like things about like records at the G and stuff like that, and people are like, if you can't win at the G during the season, like you won't win there in the grand final, blah blah blah. But more often than not, teams are able to overcome that kind of shit on grand final day because the atmosphere and the vibe and the day of grand final day throws off everybody and pretty much puts them on an even playing field. Like if you're having to travel in a home and away game, it'll like it advantages the home team because they keep in their routine and they know what's going on. When it comes to grand final day, all routines, all everything goes completely out the window. You have to do your parade the day before, you wake up the day of, and you're like you can't warm up in your usual spots because there's media and there's fans everywhere and stuff like that. It really fucks with people. So I think it kind of eliminates the whole former record at a ground kind of thing. Not eliminates it entirely, but minimizes it a little bit and kind of levels it out. In this case, in the favour of the Lions. And the Lions have got the wood on Collingwood. No, that's good one. Over recent times. They've won the last 6. That was a good one. I was proud of that. Said it after I said it. I was like, how about
I'm getting Tasmanian wood vibes.
that?
Bring your
Daisy
wood.
Timber. Um,
Yeah, that's the one.
in saying all of that, Collingwood are going to win.
Pies. How
Pies.
much?
They don't win big. They don't win by a lot ever.
They don't.
Um, but grand finals are known to be very one-sided. I think it's going to be Pies by 15 points.
Tough, isn't it? Because that
Mm.
MCG factor, crowd factor, I think the weather being prime, 27 degrees, as you said, really factors in favour of Collingwood. And Brisbane, whilst having the wood, as you said, over Collingwood and not playing at the Gabba, I can see why everyone's writing them off. I don't want to write them off. I think this is going to be, we're going to finally get a close grand final. This is going to be the
That's,
one where it's two or
I
three goals
really hope
max
so.
the whole day. And it's just the energy's so high, it's intense. Collingwood haven't scored well this final series. They haven't scored over 70 points yet. Brisbane have scored pretty heavily in their two finals. Um, I say that they've only scored 73, 79 or whatever on the weekend, but I genuinely do think their scoring power outmuscles Collingwood. It'll just come
Mhm.
down to whether or not Collingwood's defense for me is the thought that I have that whether or not they'll win or lose this grand final. I'm tipping the Pies. I think their midfield's going to be just a bit too tough. Tipping them by 3 points.
Oh boy, that will be raptures. This game, like we were looking at the stats today, the Lions at the MCG in the last 2 years have had 103 points kicked against them on average every game. That's a lot. It's a lot. That's that in a grand final. 103 points at the MCG is more than enough to beat you. Grand finals are usually pretty low scoring. 103 points will be enough if Collingwood can get there. This is a genuine race to 100. If you can get to 100 first, you should win the game.
That's
Um,
where McStay being out hurts the Pies. And we mentioned Mason Cox. He hasn't kicked bags of goals. And like Cameron doesn't kick big goals. They're going to have to get a lot from their smalls. Like Hill's going to have to stand up. Mychek's going to kick three or four. They're going to have to kick goals from the midfield as well. Like this is a genuine, like you said, race to 100. And if it's a race to 100, Brisbane are winning this game.
yeah,
That's my personal
that's
opinion. If
that's
Collingwood want to
fair.
win, they've got to keep it under 75
That's fair.
and
Norm
hope for
Smith
rain.
prediction. Yeah, Norm Smith prediction. I think the goalie's going to win it.
Ooh, Norm Smith. Didn't really think of that one. Not on the
Yeah,
run
I know. I
sheet.
was like,
Well played.
I caught you off. Yeah, I caught you off guard, but I was like, we should probably include a Norm
We
Smith
should
pick.
do
I'm
it.
going to go to goalie.
I think it's such a close game, but nobody the winners always get the Norm Smith besides Lenny Hayes that year. Darcy Moore. Wasn't
I
that a
was going to
very
say
good? Hasn't that a
defenders seem to
very
do it a
good?
little bit here and there.
Yeah, Brian Lake.
Brian Lake, that was exactly what I was thinking of. Brian Lake just then. Um,
Hasn't that a
is
good
one of
final series, I think, Darcy. Was very good against the D's early, but
yeah.
then faded late. And then the same on the weekend. I think Murphy held his own a bit more. I think captain Darcy
Yeah.
Darcy Moore versus Harris Andrews.
It's gonna be
Big
good.
key defenders as
That's a
captains.
good. It's cool. Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I'm like looking into the future, like a potential future. But imagine if Nick Dacos in his second year of AFL footy goes Brownlow, Flag, Norm Smith.
You know what's funny though is normally the teams that win the grand final. Like if I think it's if your team is playing in the grand final and you win the Brownlow, your team loses.
Well, most cases, Dusty though in 2017 when all of them, Dusty did them all. Um,
Jimmy Bartell didn't do it all, but 2007 doesn't count.
oh Lord.
No, Ollie wasn't playing that day.
No, he wasn't.
I don't think he was
But
born.
yeah, has to. How long ago
Oh,
do you
he would
think
have hoped.
2007 was?
Would have hoped. Yeah.
It's almost out of the memory. Almost.
I don't think you remember much when you were 2. Do
Absolutely not.
you?
When I was 2,
Yeah,
absolutely nothing.
correct. See, it never happened.
When I was 2, Port was winning a flag. So
I liked when you were 2.
yeah, there we go.
I mean, I like it now, but when you were 2, it was
I
good
was 2, it
times.
was better.
Do you want to go back?
Please.
I beg. Yeah.
That's
So,
it.
pies by 15, pies by 3. DeGoey and more. I do not want to write off Brisbane in this. I really, really
No.
don't. I'm almost tempted to tip them as well
Mm.
because I think that Fagan as well was the oldest coach to coach a team to a grand final,
Yeah,
62 years
yeah. So
old.
that's that. Yeah.
So if that's the case and he gets them across the line, I think it's going to be one of the more celebrated premierships if they
It'll be
win
a
it.
really good story. Like a really
Mm.
good story. You have you have Lockie Neal winning it after all that time. Josh Dunkley moved to Brisbane to win a flag.
How many
Like you
times do we
have a
see
lot of
that as well?
Yeah, you have a lot of stories where like players move to a different team to win a flag, and like Adam Treloar, his best friend, is a perfect example of that. He went to Collingwood over Richmond thinking they were going to win a flag, and then Richmond went bang, 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 and Collingwood lost in between those.
Yeah.
Like you have a lot of horror stories when it comes to that kind of stuff. Having Dunkley win it would be a pretty cool thing to see because he did it for that reason, and he could do it.
Yeah. Just makes you look forward to seeing what can happen on the weekend. And 62 years is pretty good. So I think maybe that's why Ken Hinkley's not there yet.
What's he up to? What's
Oh,
his
56. He's still got 6 or 7 years. So if we
a
can
couple of
hold
years?
strong, right? Hold strong. Couple of extra extensions.
2029, baby.
What a flag.
Load up
I will.
right now.
That
Futures.
that would be
Did
the
they go
same
that
year.
far? Did they go that far in advance?
I'm sure I can make one.
I like it.
Ollie Lord to poll a vote. Do you reckon it's suspended?
At some point. He'll be playing for
Anyway,
Geelong then. So
that's our little preview of this week. It's going to be fun. It's grand final
absolutely.
week.
Grand final week's
So
always the best. Might have to
yeah.
I might have to roll into Fed Square one day this week, and it's always fun like grand final week. They always got cool shit going on. So I might roll into the city, and if I find a spare second of my life to roll into the city and do anything, then we'll see. But yeah, grand final week is a lot of fun, and grand final day itself is it's like Christmas. Like you get that Christmas vibe when you wake up. Like you wake up in the morning, it's usually sunny. You're like, it's fucking grand final day, and you're like all excited. You're out of bed early. Like it's a cool day.
And it's celebrated right around the country. And usually there's 3 things that happen. You're either at the game, you're not at the game, and you're watching it with family or friends. And the common denominator with both is a percentage of alcohol in your hand.
Quite a few.
Except if you're under 18,
Drink responsibly.
which obviously you have a percentage of cordial.
Some good old lemonade.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
It is.
that's it. That's us. We're done.
There it is.
What do we do now? This is the
Come back
last
next week.
game we're looking forward to.
Come back next week. And it's review and
We go
footy.
again.
And then footy. Footy's not.
Then we got to deal with the off-season shit.
Yeah.
I would trade one vote for your. It's funny.
Oh,
I would trade. Ah, fuck it. I don't know.
we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll come up with our fake trades. Anyway, anything you want to say before we tell the people to do what they have to do?
I mean, to Pies and Lions fans, good luck. I know this week is getting terrifying, so have fun. Try not to think about it. Just try and take your mind off it until Saturday morning. Um, but yeah, good luck to them. If Collingwood win, don't be in the city of Melbourne on Saturday night. Because you probably won't make it out alive. So just make sure you keep your eyes on the game, everybody. If Collingwood win, evacuate South Australia is that way.
No. Don't come here. Don't send them here. All right? I don't give a stuff where you're from and who you support. You're not coming here. Do not
Okay.
flood this is my long weekend. Don't
I
ruin
want to
it.
rest.
I want to relax with quietness on the roads.
Not have Victorians stumbling through.
Yeah, you've done it too often.
Don't
Gather
worry,
around was very noticeable.
yeah, there was a few Victorians rolling our way through.
Yeah, you were. Terrible. If I walk through Rundle Mall, you had to get a ticket like you're lining up for meat.
Let's sign off.
Anyway,
Follow us on socials and stuff. Like a video.
goodbye, everybody.
Bye.